In one of my previous videos, I talked about how Donald Trump was not going to be able to pay the money for the bond to appeal the nearly $500 million that he has to pay the state of New York. I also gave, of course, Mark Levin's tweet about how billionaires aren't helping Donald Trump. Pretty much you can hear the crying in that tweet. I even suggested that his daughter, who he wants to sleep with, and his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, could possibly pay it. No one's helping him. No insurance company is helping him. No one is going to take on a nearly $500 million case in which Donald Trump is not going to pay back. We know the history of this guy. He's not going to pay, even if me personally, now I wouldn't do it, but if I personally gave the man a check for $5 and he says he's going to pay me back, I know for a certain he's not going to pay me back. Not for $5, not for 10, not for 20, not for 200, not for $1 million, not for $1 billion. We know this man. And he is out of options. He is almost out of options at this point. The clock is continuing to tick. On Monday, March 25th, Letitia James, the Attorney General in New York, is coming after Donald Trump's properties. And Donald Trump and his supporters can scream, hoff, and holler all they want. But in the end of the day, the bill is coming due. But thanks to his attorney, Alina Habba, who who is sleeping with Donald Trump. And that's a very ugly vision to have, because Alina Habba, beyond the ditziness that she has, is an attractive woman. The fact is, Alina is not exactly... I'm going to show you a small clip from her Fox News interview, and she's asked a very simple, very loaded question. Do you believe that Donald Trump is going to look to Russia or Saudi Arabia? Now, I mentioned that in one of my posts, one of my previous videos, but Fox News asks Alina Habba for the answer to that particular question. And the answer is startling. Take a look.
Is there any effort on the part of your team to secure this money through another country, Saudi Arabia or Russia, as Joy Behar seems to think?
Well, there's rules and regulations that are public. I can't speak about strategy that require certain things, and we have to follow those rules. Like I said, this is manifest injustice. It is impossible. It's an impossibility. I believe they knew that. I think that's why mid-trial, frankly, they changed their ask from $250 million to the ridiculous amount of money that they've asked for. I think everything is done intentionally. I do not doubt that the witch hunt, that the election interference goal is what was ringing steady and loudly and true throughout all these trials, frankly. And we're seeing it. It's the demise of our country, not the demise of Trump. So we'll handle it as we always have and keep our heads up and keep working hard.
When you're asked a question like that, it should be a simple yes or no answer. But Alina Habba was just blah, 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 yeah, election interference, blah, 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 it's rigged against Trump, blah, 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 trying to spread the gospel of Trump, blah, blah, blah. You couldn't even answer a simple question of, is Donald Trump planning to go to other countries for the money? Is he planning to go to Saudi Arabia or Russia? I asked that very question in the previous video. If there was a possibility that he could go to other countries for help. And this idiotic woman, she didn't say yes, mind you, but she also didn't say no. And I think that should be startling for itself, not for the simple fact that we know that Donald Trump's going to ask for help from other countries, but because he has made himself financially a national security risk to this country. Because imagine right now if the leader of Saudi Arabia actually gave them a check for nearly $500 million, or more, or worse yet, the president of Russia, or the dictator of North Korea, or the president of China. Imagine if he actually got a check from any one of those countries to help him with these legal bills. And imagine the nightmare scenario of him actually being re-elected as president of the United States in the November elections this year. And imagine still that every decision he makes, every policy he makes, isn't about protecting the United States, isn't about fighting for the United States of America. It's about doing the bidding of the people that he owes money to. That is terrifying. Because quite honestly, he'll have these leaders, if Vladimir Putin or Kim Jong-un or the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia or the President of China, President Xi, had that kind of money on him, had them by the gonads because he needed the money, this country will be irreparably endangered by all of those countries. None of our allies will help us because they know that as President of the United States, he is indebted to some of the worst people in the world, especially a man like Vladimir Putin, who sent soldiers to watch people vote and made sure they voted for him and not for anyone else. Here are the facts on this. Alina Habba just screwed. This is the joke to this. If I, as a person who understands a little bit about the law, if a man who has, hopefully, in my mind, has some common sense, if I'm seeing Alina Habba destroy my case day in and day out for a 5-minute soundbite on Fox News, ONN, and Newsmax, I am firing that bitch. You're not helping my case. You're gone. But apparently Donald Trump isn't the type of person to do that. And we're not talking about because of her legal skills, because she has screwed up from the floor up every one of his cases. No, I shouldn't say every one of his cases, because I don't know if she's on the Georgia case or the January 6th case. But when it comes down to the New York case and the defamation case by E. Jean Carroll, she has screwed everything up for 5 minutes worth of sound bites on right-wing media. She's not helping Donald Trump's case. All she's doing is spreading the BS lies of Donald Trump, of all this being rigged against Trump, which is BS. And when you're giving the question of saying, will you contact other leaders like Saudi Arabia or Russia, and you can't even give a straightforward answer to that, that makes me think of two things. Either you're not smart enough to answer the question, or the answer is yes. You're going to, but you don't want anyone else to know about it. Sooner or later, now I'm not a fool, and I'm not that naive to think that the properties are going to be seized by Letitia James in the DA's office, in the Attorney General's office. I'm not that foolish. I'm not that naive. Donald Trump is going to try to wiggle his way out, whether it's a legal appeal or someone is going to pay the bill. And I'm leaning towards the former of him getting the appeal, getting the amount reduced so he can actually pay it, or someone out there is going to pay his legal bills. And despite the GoFundMe BS that we're seeing out there, I don't think that's going to happen. But when it comes to Russia or China or even North Korea or especially Saudi Arabia, it's a possibility. I shouldn't have to say it's a possibility, but unfortunately, it is a possibility. Because if they're in their minds, in the leaders of those countries' minds, if I help Donald Trump, I got him by the balls. I got Donald Trump by the balls. I'm going to do everything I can to get him reelected because I'll have the President of the United States by the balls. That is what they're thinking about. And if that happens, and we'll find out in short order, because like I said earlier, time's running out. March 25th is coming. And again, I'm not naive to think that Letitia James is just going to swoop in and grab all these properties. I'm not that naive. But if it happens, I will be incredibly surprised and I will be happy because the hammer hasn't fallen to Donald Trump and now it's starting to fall. But when it comes to Alina Habba and that idiotic statement of hers, Trump, I don't know if the sex is good. I don't know if you have some secret hard-on every time you look at her in the courtroom or on Fox News. I don't know if you're secretly going to your bathroom at Mar-a-Lago or wherever the hell you are and secretly jerking off to her. But she is not worth it. She is destroying your case. And the more she opens her mouth, the more you look guilty. Well, actually, it's an equal batch. Every time you open your mouth, you look guilty. Every time she opens her mouth, she makes her stuff look stupid and you look more guilty. My advice to you, Trump, I would consider prayer. Pray that Vladimir Putin saves your ass or some other in the world network, or pray that your kids who got millions of dollars from the Saudi government saves your ass. But honestly, Trump, I see no way out of this for you. And I'm going to continue to celebrate it. This country is going to continue to celebrate it. Because quite honestly, you brought all of this on yourself. And there is no turning back. CTP, know the truth. God bless. Peace to the left, justice to the right.